The Energy Revolution system is presented as a digital instructional product rather than a physical device or installed system. The core offering consists of downloadable blueprints, written guides, and schematic materials that describe how to assemble a small-scale energy-related apparatus using commonly available components. Delivery is digital. Access is typically provided through an online platform, where written manuals, diagrams, and supporting explanations can be downloaded and reviewed offline. There is no hardware shipped as part of the product. All physical components, if pursued, are sourced independently by the user. In terms of scope, the product focuses narrowly on a single conceptual build. It does not attempt to survey the broader field of renewable energy, nor does it provide ongoing system management tools. The emphasis is on a specific configuration described as being inspired by historical electrical concepts associated with Nikola Tesla, particularly a coil-based design referenced in older patents. The conceptual framing is historical and mechanical, rather than software-driven or algorithmic. The materials are positioned as rediscovered or simplified interpretations of early electrical experimentation, adapted into a form intended for modern replication using current consumer-grade parts. The product narrative places significant weight on legacy ideas and archival inspiration, while the instructional content itself is presented as step-by-step documentation. No certification, professional installation pathway, or third-party validation is built into the product. Its identity is that of a standalone instructional guide. Interaction with the Energy Revolution system begins with reading. The initial time requirement is allocated to reviewing the written materials, understanding the diagrams, and familiarizing oneself with the listed components. This phase is passive and can be completed incrementally. If the instructions are followed beyond reading, the next stage involves sourcing materials. According to the product's framing, these materials are standard electrical or electronic components obtainable through local retailers or online marketplaces. This sourcing process introduces variability in time commitment, depending on availability and familiarity with such parts. Assembly, as described, is manual and physical. The level of technical interaction is positioned as moderate, more involved than plug-and-play consumer electronics, but less complex than professionally installed energy systems. The process does not rely on software configuration, coding, or digital monitoring. Instead, it centers on physical assembly and basic electrical connections. Repeatability is limited in the sense that the system is not described as something that requires daily adjustment or ongoing tuning once assembled. Interaction after construction is minimal, assuming the build remains intact. Environmental needs are also relatively constrained. The instructions suggest that the device can be assembled and housed in a standard indoor or sheltered space, without reliance on sunlight, wind, or fuel inputs. However, unlike grid-connected systems, the usage context remains self-contained. There is no integration with utility infrastructure described within the instructional scope. Any application beyond the assembly itself is left to individual interpretation and local considerations. From a logical fit perspective, the Energy Revolution system aligns most closely with individuals who tolerate uncertainty in exchange for simplicity of structure. The product reduces decision-making by focusing on a single build, rather than a portfolio of energy solutions. For someone interested in conceptual experimentation or hands-on assembly without long-term operational management, this format may feel approachable. The system also appeals to those who prefer low recurring involvement. There are no dashboards, subscriptions, firmware updates, or ongoing optimization routines described. Once the instructional material is consumed and the device assembled, the interaction largely ends. Conversely, this format is less suitable for those seeking comprehensive energy planning, regulatory compliance guidance, or guaranteed integration with household infrastructure. Individuals who expect measurable benchmarks, third-party testing, or adaptive performance controls would likely find the scope insufficient. It may also be rejected by those who are uncomfortable working with electrical components at any level, regardless of simplicity, or by those who prioritize professionally installed and insured systems over self-assembled solutions. The product does not attempt to accommodate every tolerance level. Its structure assumes a willingness to engage with instructions, interpret diagrams, and accept responsibility for any implementation decisions. When placed alongside more demanding energy options, the Energy Revolution system occupies a distinctly lighter position. It does not compete on scale, automation, or institutional backing. Instead, it trades depth, customization, and formal validation for accessibility and consistency of format. Compared to solar installations or generator systems, the effort curve is shifted away from financial planning and maintenance toward initial comprehension. There is no need for contractors, permits, or long-term service agreements within the product's defined use. At the same time, this simplicity comes with constraints. The absence of modular expansion paths, monitoring tools, or standardized performance metrics differentiates it clearly from engineered solutions. The product does not attempt to replace complex systems. It exists as an instructional alternative that emphasizes ease of entry over adaptability. In that sense, it functions more as a conceptual build guide than as an infrastructure solution. Its value proposition, as presented, rests on consistency of instructions and minimal ongoing engagement, rather than technical depth or scalability. The Energy Revolution system remains positioned as a contained instructional offering within a broader and varied energy landscape. It does not resolve the larger questions surrounding energy generation, regulation, or long-term sustainability. It simply occupies a narrow space where reduced complexity and self-directed assembly are prioritized, and where the choice to proceed or not rests entirely with the individual.